What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Perfect Cell back with another video, and this topic right here is a little interesting. You know, it's a video about what if I had a son. You know, what are the vital things in life I will show him and teach him. And this is for, like, you know, when he gets into high school. By the time he gets into high school and then on. You know, anywhere before that, you know, like, I'm not really thinking much about that, even though there is something to consider. But you know, I ain't gonna have kids anyway, so what? But I just want to show him something to teach him a sense of responsibility, you know, something that can have a lasting effect on their personality, you know, and give them that atmosphere of being a working class citizen, and just, you know, learning how to, like, be on their purpose and keep their head above water. The reason why I say, like, you know, from high school, because that's usually around the time where they, like, you know, they don't really care to learn about anything. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, teenagers, they can be a little hard-headed until they learn something really valuable, then they stick with it. And these are the 5 things that I'll teach them, so stay tuned. Number 1 thing that I'll teach them is this: learn the difference between solid money and liquid money. Now, this lesson right here is very important because, well, schools nowadays, they don't teach that to kids, you know, and I think like that's a good idea for me to teach my son this, especially considering the fact that I haven't really learned about none of this until I was, like, in my 20s. You know, coming up, all I really knew, like, at that point about work and financial freedom is this: is you don't work, you don't eat. But financial freedom is important, especially in this day and age. And I want to teach my kids the hustle, the entrepreneurship. Because if he works a 9 to 5, you never know what might happen at a 9 to 5. You might, you know, when you on that clock, you never know what might happen. You know, you might get injured on work, and have no workers' comp. You know, somebody at work might try you and you lose your cool, or you might end up going postal and end up getting fired. You know what I mean? Or you can be like, end up like me 3 years ago when I got fired for no legitimate reason. Like, they didn't say anything why I got fired. They just said, hey, we ain't got no hours for you. But it's like, y'all said y'all was hiring though. You know what I'm saying? And it's illegal. It is legal for someone in Virginia to fire you just because they can. You know what I'm saying? At least when you have a side hustle or something that you do on the side, or whatever it is that you do, you know, some sort of financial freedom outside of your work. If you get terminated, you still have some sort of income coming in. You know, like, nobody ain't ever really told me about no liquid money coming up. You know what I mean? Like I said before, only thing I learned was you don't work, you don't eat. So yeah, if you only relying on your job, your 9 to 5 to get by, you're not going to make a good time out of it. Take it from a cat that's blue collar. And I want my son to know that, like, he won't have to worry about biting his tongue around his boss or a co-worker, or putting up with a toxic work environment just to pay his bills. You know, I want him to have a second source of income. That way if he falls, he got something to land on. The next thing that I would teach him is, don't waste your time on female validation. Now, this is important because a lot of guys, you know, a lot of y'all say that y'all alpha, but y'all still call yourself chasing hoes. I say about 30% of y'all are actually chasing the bag, and 15% of y'all are actually in y'all bags. But the rest of y'all still thinking about these hoes, man. Like, don't get me wrong, we all want to bust down some Tatianas. But there's so much more to life than that, alright? And also, you gotta know this: like, you can't always make all your shots. Shoot, even Steph Curry missed some shots. Shoot. You can be the most attractive cat in the world, you know, got all this status, money, and charisma. There's still gonna be women out there that wouldn't give you the time of day for whatever stupid reason. Maybe because you're bald, maybe because you're short, maybe because you got dreads, maybe because you're dark skinned, you're white, whatever. There's still women gonna be like, I don't want him. Just because whatever reason it may be. I don't want my son to be, you know, like, chasing women that don't even want him. You know, like, you only got one life and it's short, and you only live once, man. But at the end of the day, if you're happy with yourself, then shoot, the hell with the females, you know, not giving you no play or what have you. You know, it's your life, you know. Stop worrying about some female validation. That's what I want my son to understand. Like, don't worry about female validation, man. Number 3, don't be nobody's bitch. Alright? Now, there's going to be a time where somebody is going to try you. Just like how women test you, men will test you too. And the reason why that's because it's human nature. Why does he do me that way? Yeah, dudes will try you, will try to own you, control you. Now, I've been bullied a lot, but all I got was a simple threat and maybe some name calling. But I never got my lunch money took or anything like that. But if anybody swing on me, I'm gonna beat their ass. Like shoot, even though even though when I was in high school, I wanted to pimp slap some people so hard, I didn't, because I didn't want to get kicked out of school. But hey, now I gotta live with that. But my son, on the other hand, I don't want him to live with that. You know, I don't want him to be owned by somebody who don't even respect him. I don't want my son to be owned by nobody, period. If he tells me that he's being bullied, I'll say talk to the teacher first. Talk to the principals, sort things out. Maybe we can talk to them and all this other stuff. But if he's still getting bullied, even after all of this stuff, I'm going to just tell my son, like, hey, go ahead and knock that kid's block off. If he gets suspended, shoot, we're going to another school because, well, at that point, the teachers don't really care about how the kids feel. Now, in college or at work, that's a little different thing. Just take it out to the streets. Don't do nothing like on site. You know what I mean? But one thing I do know about fights is, like, when two people fight, whether one wins or loss, you really never see them deal with each other anymore, unless a gun is involved. But yeah, my son ain't gonna be bullied all of the time, man. He ain't going for all that bullying mess. I won't allow it. All right, number 4. I don't want my son looking at me as his only leader. Like, I want to be my son's leader, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to be his only leader. You know what I mean? And this is the problem with generations of parents. And I hate it, and I hate to sound like an old head, but most of y'all think that y'all gonna be y'all kids' only leader forever, which is wrong. Y'all think that they gonna end up like you. No, they might come out of you. They might look like you. You might have made them, share the same blood and everything else with them, but they're not you. So with that being said, I want my son to look up to me, but I also want him to look up to other strong black men in our community. Whether it's teachers, aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors, shoot. I want all of them to bear the knowledge to my son and teach me some things that I can't. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it takes a village to raise a child. And I might add, making yourself your only child's leader is kind of unhealthy, because that means that they probably gonna end up being like you 2.0. Listen, I'm the one and only perfect self. There will never be another, and there ain't never gonna be another, and there was nothing before me. Hey, what the hell I look like having a mini-me? Come on, man. Y'all already got Cell. Y'all don't need Cell Jr., baby. And last but not least, this one right here is more of a purple pill thing. And it's, if you want a relationship, check all that bitterness and whatever you was feeling previously at the door. Whether it's from a past relationship or some sort of past event that really messed you up. Like, leave that, you gotta let that go. Like I said before, even though I'm red pill, alright, 10 toes down red pill, my son may still want to settle down, even after I gave him the game about female nature and stuff like that. And that's fine, because, well, I do want my child to be better than me. Maybe he wants to get married, want to have a family and all this other. It's all good. But if he's going to settle down, he needs to do it right. He needs to be on top of this game, and most importantly, he needs to put all of that resentment away from his past, because, shoot, whoever he dates, it's not fair for them to be dealing with that. You know what I mean? Because what if the woman that he dates isn't a good...
Sweet Mary J, Mary Kate, and Ashley, 2 twins rolled up. I think it was a Saturday.